Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eli here with American Legacy Fishing Company. I'm going to start a new series that's a bait and technique of the month series. So I'm going to pick 3 baits that I like for that month, what I think that you can get the most bites on, what I think will be the most effective for you all. And this will be kind of more generalized, so it applies to pretty well everywhere in the country. So let's get into it. The first bait I'm going to choose, and one I think that's far overlooked, is a frog. And this one right here is a Terminator frog. I think there might be actually getting rid of these, but that's a frog that I've really liked. But regardless, this time of year, a lot of those fish, after they just get done spawning, especially if you're in the northern part of the country still, they get up there and start eating bluegill. And this thing really mimics that well. A frog actually, a lot of times we think that the fish actually think it is a bluegill. So they get up there and eat that. This is really good over brim beds. It's good over grass. It's good in bushes and wood. If you're in part of the country that flipping bushes is a really big deal, this is great throwing in the bushes. And it's really good through most of the month of June. If you get a little further south and the fish start to get offshore, it might not be as effective, but for the fish that are still up shallow, whether it be guarding fry or, like I said, eating bluegill, this is a super, super effective technique that I think is often overlooked. The next bait I'm going to pick is the old ball and chain, the Carolina rig. This is a little bit slower, but man, it gets a lot of bites. One little cool trick that I like to do is I will actually put 2 bobber stops on my weight here, like this, on a bullet weight. And then that way, if I'm up shallow flipping, I can just slide this down like that, and then I've got my Texas rig flipping bait. But then if you get out offshore, you can just slide it up there, slide that second bobber stop, have it like that, and then you got the whole Carolina rig right there. It kind of keeps you from having to retie and tie on a Carolina rig, and then if you're practicing for a tournament or whatever, once the tournament rolls around, you could rig up a rod that's for that. But if you're kind of practicing for a tournament and you're fishing up shallow, fishing offshore, and kind of everywhere in between, it's a really cool little cheat code to kind of save a rod, and that way you have one rigged up at all times. But dragging this on shallow points or tapering points, rock piles, stump fields, whatever it may be, the Carolina rig, it just gets so many bites. You saw a lot of guys in the Bass Pro Tour on Kentucky Lake that they just finished up throwing this old school bait to generate those bites that when those fish were getting kind of finicky, they would come in and clean up with the Carolina rig. So all across the country, this bait gets a ton of bites. The third bait I'm going to pick is the jig head minnow. This arguably, you might need to keep this in your arsenal at all times now. I mean, it's no secret. This is the bait that they eat. You can see I've caught quite a few fish on this one recently. This is just the Crush City freeloader. But man, it's when these fish first get offshore, they start to feed up on shad or whatever may be out on your lake, and it's just obviously a killer. It is obviously more effective with live scope, but for those of you who don't have live scope, I have seen co-anglers and people fishing with me and other people just blind cast this, and they catch a lot of fish on it too, especially the freeloader. It's a really good bait just to cast around and twitch back to the boat. Super effective. Once again, I'll throw this out on shallow points, tapering points, over stumps, over rock piles, whatever kind of cover I can find out there that the fish are holding on. This jig head minnow is super effective in getting a bunch of bites as well. As far as equipment goes for these techniques, the frog, I like a 7.3 to 7.5 heavy rod. I like a little bit longer rod, but not too long. The longer rod allows me, if I'm fishing mats or something, I can bomb that frog way back there, but also have enough length and the heavy power to get them out of the cover. But also, I don't want it too long because I throw that frog up under bushes and under overhanging limbs and so forth. And so that 7.3 to 7.5 is really good. As far as the reel goes, I like a fast reel. This is actually an 8-2 SLX XT by Shimano. The rod is also Shimano, it's a Curado, but as far as the reel, you want a fast reel. You can pick up that slack when you need to set the hook. It allows you to walk the bait really well, that faster reel, as well as winch on them to get the fish out of the cover. Braid, I always throw my frog on braid, and I like 50 pound. 65 is a little bit overkill. 50, you can fit a little bit more on the spool for those longer casts. So that's my frog setup there. As far as the Carolina rig goes, also is on this is a 7.5 heavy Curado rod. The reel is a Shimano SLX XT. This is also a 7 gear ratio reel. I like it so I can pick up the slack faster, make that drag, pick up the slack, make the drag. And that heavy action rod allows me to really reel down and get a good hook in them, because most of the time when a Carolina rig, you're casting it way out on that point and dragging it, and you really need to be able to pick up the slack and get a good hook in them. So that rod and reel combo is really good for the Carolina rig. As far as the line goes, I like 17 to 20 pound fluorocarbon. Once again, out offshore, you can get away a little bit easier with a little bit heavier line, and a lot of times you're dragging this through cover over rocks. You don't want the line to get all frayed up easily and have to retie a bunch. Baits for the Carolina rig. This is a speed crawl. This is a really good bait, especially for smallmouth. But brush hogs, flukes are really popular. Speed crawl, any crawl or creature style bait you could probably get away with, but yeah, this speed crawl is kind of an in-between size of anything will really bite it. The bigger size, like the trench hog, the brush hog, any of those bigger baits, sometimes the smallmouth can shy away from them. So I like a little bit smaller bait a lot of times. If I'm on like a pure largemouth only fishery, I can get away with a bigger size bait, but I like to throw something mid-size so everybody down there has a chance at eating it. My jig head minnow setup, also this is a Shimano Curado rod. This is a 7-foot light. I like 7s or 7.6 lights or medium lights. This is a Shimano Stratic reel. This is one of the best reels for the price point. I'm telling you, the drag just super, super, super smooth. It fishes just like a $600-700 reel. Very reliable, very good drag system. I like a 2500 size reel. It just fits better, feels better. It's not too big. It's a good balance on the rod. It doesn't feel, like overkill. You definitely, for the minnow, you want like at least a 6 gear ratio. Those slower ones, you can't pick up the slack as well when you're twitching it to get the right action on your minnow. But that light action, that light soft tip is super important, but you also want some good backbone in that rod. I like 15-pound braid on my minnows. You can just bomb them out there with that braid. This is Sufix 832. In my opinion, it's probably the best braid out there. It's super, super silky smooth and very abrasion resistant. This 15-pound feels like 4 or 8. I mean, it's very good, very good. So that is my jig head minnow setup. So those are 3 baits that I feel in the month of June are going to get you bites, kind of regardless of where you're at in the country. Let me know down in the comments below what you think I might have missed. There are definitely a lot of baits in June that you could get away with, but like a deep plug, for example, is a really, really popular one. But in my opinion, those are most effective in schooling bass. And here in the Midwest where we are with American Legacy, we don't see a whole lot of that, and we got to get down on the Tennessee River Lakes to see that, unfortunately. But in those schooling bass, a deep plug is killer. But these baits, I just feel a little bit more are the most effective in my opinion, regardless of where all you go. So I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.